anyone know if Palo Santo makes good firewood? You know, it kind of does have some long burning effects, I feel like. Whereas, you know, the sage, you know, it takes a while to get this going and it ashes like everywhere. But this is kind of, I mean, it has a pleasant scent. Not all Palo Santo is created equal, of course. I think I got this on the Tejano Reservation, perhaps, when I was down in Tucson area. Highly recommend you go out and explore, you know, safely, of course. And always take some water with you in your vehicle because you don't know when you're going to be able to fill up again. Because when you're in the desert, you are in the desert. You know what I'm saying? Anyway. And I am not a camel. I've used one of those camelback things though. Those are kind of nice, especially when you're hiking. So you don't have to, so you have your hands free, you know. Actually, one time I was out in Joshua Tree hiking and I saw a couple and the guy went down and he was holding like this thing. I think it was a glass, you know, and it, you know, it could have been really bad, but it wasn't. I think they were local too, because these two, they had no problem with the altitude and getting through this hike that we were on. Anyway, they were definitely in shape. Those two should be like some Olympic runners or something, you know what I mean? They definitely had the stamina. I had to check myself to keep up with them every now and then. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and use the Spirit Halloween deck again today, guys. I think it might technically, I don't know if it's still Sunday or not, but yeah, I don't want to open up this other deck right now. Hopefully you can hear me okay with the fan going in the back. Just want to channel some good juju for you guys. Hopefully get you started off to a good week coming up, you know? So, you know, we'll see what happens here. You know what I mean? I make no guarantees on this stuff, so please do use your own discernment, alright? I'm not here to, like, babysit people. I'm not here to tell you what to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're the one who understands this message more than I do, okay? Like, you're gonna have to take it that way, alright? I cannot spell it out for you. It does not work that way. Right? Okay. Thank you. Somebody explain it to him. Alright, now, for the rest of us that are here for the message, okay. I'm going to try and keep it short today, guys. I did quite a bit of clearing here of this energy, so I feel like whoever does receive this message, it's going to sit well with you, alright? So please do release your nerves, you know, as you do listen to readings. As you might need some, you know, crystals or some exercises to help ground your energy. 9 of Cups, the Kraken. Feeling very passionate. Okay. Sorry the lighting in here, it's dark, guys, but it's just what it is. So on this card, there's a whole bunch of tentacles, and they are enveloping this giant ship here, whose sails have become tattered, and one of the masts has snapped, okay? So the ship is definitely in some dire straits, and this giant kraken has its tentacles all over the ship. Okay. You see a lot of white splatters with the waves thrashing kind of as this fight is going on in the sea. So some of you recently may have had a fight, perhaps over some kind of trophy. But whatever, and it's just like maybe kind of like, you know, that message about like the Olympics, you know what I mean? It's just kind of like, You know, maybe you were going there for the gold, but you still got a medal, right? Like, because the Nine of Cups is somebody who's typically very satisfied. So, but you're, you know, maybe it's like, yeah, you're okay being satisfied, but you also work really hard to get what you want, right? And that's why you have like the strength of this Kraken here, right? And it's like, this Kraken has its eyes on this ship, and it's like, I am the Kraken, right? Like, this is what I want. You know, you can, if you can see his eye here, and the Kraken is red, and he's like taking over the ship with, yeah, like this kind of the tentacles, okay? So, yeah. Anyway, that's in the past position. Pardon with me, I do have my tea with honeydew. And this is going to be getting an uploaded video because I wasn't sure the timing of this message today, so I have to follow, you know, some rules on that. Seven of Pentacles, Gremlins. I feel like this came out in one of my last readings in the foundation. So if this isn't something that you have addressed recently, it may be coming up now, and you may be like, look, I don't understand why I'm having issues. Like, I thought I had everything squared away, blah, blah, blah. You know, like me, I thought I had everything squared away with my taxes. I ended up owing the government quite a bit of money, you know, this past year. So I ended up, you know, I paid it, and then I filed an extension. And it's like, okay, so I do have some time to get my taxes redone. So it's actually the accountant that's working on it. It's looking better. So I'm like, you know, pleased that it might be, you know, at least I might not be losing money. Right? It's always nice to try and get a return out of something. But, you know, they say, you know, you're not supposed to try and get a huge return, or else, you know, then the government's just holding your money tax free. So I try to adhere by that principle, although it is nice to get a little chunk of change in the mail every now and then, because sometimes things happen, right? You know, like right after I lost my job, I had a 6-figure income, you guys, okay? Right? Like, and I was terminated from my position, and like the following week I needed a new washing machine. And that cost me like $1,000. Well, thank God I had a credit card that worked or wasn't maxed out, right? Like, if your credit card's maxed out, then how are you going to buy a new washing machine? How are you going to, you know, you need clean clothes, right? Or else you have to go to the laundromat or your friend's apartment and maybe use their coin laundry, right? Like, add that up. You know what it costs to dry clothes these days? It was expensive back then. I can't even imagine now. You know, and if you live in an apartment, well, good luck. You know what I mean? Because you can't hang that outside to dry like, you know, some old redneck in the country would do, okay? So, you know, as long as nobody's burning stuff constantly, that's always annoying. People out in the country think they need to burn every day. Some of it, though, they do for, like, you know, weed control, and, you know, it's controlled by, you know, specialists and people who know how to do those things. Anyway, so it's kind of like that. You know what I mean? It's like there's just a little bit more work that might need to be done in some places, and maybe it's the fact that you haven't had the right specialist come in and help assist you to execute this goal in your foundation. So don't think of it as a faulty goal, but maybe just think of it as a foundational shift where, you know, like if you just point, you know, your eyeballs in the tiniest, you know, direction, you know, 2 degrees this way instead of that way, you know, you might see something in your peripheral that's going to broaden, you know, and it is going to broaden, number one, but it's going to help you recognize why it's broadened, all right? So that you don't succumb to over-focusing on the problems instead of the solutions that are going to come your way, okay? Because I feel like you're very passionate about this and you're not giving up on it, all right? Especially with this 9 of Cups here. Yeah, Ace of Wands on the bottom of the deck too, literally the passion card. Okay, so if that's not just, you know, sacral passion, it's also solar plexus passion. If you don't know the difference, then you might want to check out the different chakras and what they mean, okay? But this is not a chakra reading, okay? I do have a link to a shop, you guys, but usually most people just contact me. I'm not really doing a bunch of personals right now, just FYI. A lot of people end up usually asking me that in the chat, like if I can do a free personal reading for them. Well, consider this collective reading your free reading, right? Page of Pentacles, yeah. Small bones to come by, but sometimes those can turn into great things here. But not always, right? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. Because you can might mean that you need a different challenge. Okay? Your challenge might be, at the end of a different rainbow. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like for some of you that you're seen like as some pot of gold, literally. And, if you say sayonara to that, and then when they come to find the end of the rainbow and you're not there, and you're just going to be like, well, I'm not worried about it, right? Think I'm dumb enough to leave my gold at the end of this rainbow in the first place? Boy, you must really think I am a sucker. Right? Okay. So, like I said, Page of Pentacles, not every offer is the best offer, but could it turn into something? Sure. Right? But like, you don't have to full court press it, okay? You understand what I'm saying? Okay. You can use a little zone defense maybe. Or maybe you can taunt them and play keep away. I don't know. You know what I mean? There's different levels to this stuff. And again, that depends on how karmic you want to be as well, right? So take your own interpretation, all right? Like, for instance, in the movie Enter the Dragon, when they are on the boat, right? And the guy's like gambling with Bruce Lee, right? And then like he didn't want to pay him or something, so Bruce Lee makes him get out into that little dinghy out there, and then he has him like by the toe, and and then he hands the rope off to the other guys. Right? Because he kind of thought he was going to take Bruce Lee's character for a ride, because he wasn't, even though he looked, here's the thing, that's the kicker, man. He wasn't even like a gringo, right? Like, he looked like these people on the boat more than, that John so-and-so's character, the gambling addict, right? Because that's why he's there at that tournament, right? Enter the Dragon, that's such a great, I've seen that movie so many times. I love it. I love it, dude. You know what I mean? This one, I didn't grow up with 50 channels on the TV. So, on Saturdays there would maybe be one to two movies that a kid might like, after a Saturday morning cartoon session. And Enter the Dragon was just one of those that they would play over and over again. And I just, it was like kind of like an adventure movie, even though it was about drugs and prostitution. You know what I mean? Like, it was a little intense if you think about it, but it was very entertaining. And also, Bruce Lee is said to have had some spiritual moments during the actual filming of it that you can actually see on the film. So if you are, obviously watching a tarot video into some of this kind of spooky stuff, as I am using my Spirit Halloween deck, remember, Halloween's coming up, so kids, start thinking about what you want to be for Halloween so your mothers have plenty of time to prepare, right? I'm sure there's no children watching this, because children always do what they're told. Five of Pentacles, the shaman, right? The mothers out there are like, yeah, how do I make that happen? The shaman. So that's your outcome, and running 2 dimes together to make a nickel. No, we're over that. That's the death card. That's the end of that. Okay. No, we're rubbing 2 nickels together to make $5. Okay? This is the level that we're at here. Okay? And there are tribes that understand how to do this. And I feel like there are other organizations that understand this level of you know, I want to say execution, but you know, success. Yeah, the level of play. It's just at a different level here, because this five of lack that somebody wants to project, it's being recognized as a projection. Okay. So yeah, it's too bad I can't really show you guys the card very well. Anyway, yeah, the shaman here with their drum or gong, it kind of looks like, so some sound entity. There's some antlers here, with some snake-like creatures, a la Medusa, coming out of the figure's mask or headdress here. Back level. Some draping through the rest of the costume in various positions, right? Definitely coming at a position of fear, lighting the fire to it, and saying, who's scared now, right? And that's kind of what happens when Halloween comes around, right? Yeah. So, like my grandfather said to me once in a dream, boo. He was dead at the time, folks. Yeah, that's my family. Anyway, you know, there's just some things you accept as you get older, and you start to find the humor in what your family, right? Your family tree. They say you can pick your nose, but, you know, can you pick your friends? I mean, who are your friends? Can you pick your family, right? Sometimes you're born into these households, or, I mean, there's kids that are even adopted as well, right? And maybe are they adopted into the household that they want to be in? Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? So there's, and, you know, there's blended families now. You got half brothers and sisters and stepkids and, you know, all sorts of combinations of folks living together that maybe thought they would never be cohabitating, right? But looking on all of that with, you know, the gloom and doom is not really necessary, right? You know, sometimes we can giggle and laugh at the things we got away with that maybe nobody knew about either. Yeah, look at this. 4 of Wands under this death card. It's like, even though maybe the situation for you, collective, wasn't so ideal, you always had in mind something better for yourself, okay? I have to show you guys this just to prove to you that it is actually the 4 of Wands here. It's the little fairy card, okay? So, I am going to pull some meditation card. Yeah, letting go. Such a great card. It is so hard to let go. A lot of us have been through some trials and tribulations that make it hard to move forward. And that is why sometimes it's hard to let go, right? Yeah. Okay. The journey. Nice. Who is on a journey currently, collective? Definitely somebody here fighting the Kraken. That's for damn sure. You might have the ferocity of a Kraken. Right? And along your journey, you may face some challenges here, like you have with the Seven of Pentacles. But that doesn't mean you give up, is it? All right, what's here now? Let's just take the top card, please. Yes, thank you. Centering. Oh, I rarely get this card. This is very nice. So, centering here, and it's interesting that this Seven of Pentacles, even though it says gremlins on the card, it's represented by some gears. I'm not sure if there's, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, probably layered here. There's supposed to be like 7. It's interesting I counted 5 since we just finished the Olympics, right? And there's 5 Olympic rings, right? Kind of like the shaman here, right? You know, it's only 5, right? Well, you know what? When you have another hand helping, what happens? Now you have 10, right? They said it took 45,000 volunteers to pull that off. Can you imagine the logistical endeavor that must have been? All right, you guys, I just counted the number of rings on this centering card. This is just a meditation deck. I mean, it's an oracle deck. I think I may have ordered it off of Amazon. I'm not sure. So, yeah, anyway, there are 7 rings here. So, how about that for a 7 of Pentacles? Okay. So maybe every time you get to a new challenge, right, you're like, what am I, like stepping into the, 7 circles of hell or whatever? You can be like, no. Today, what I am doing, right, is I'm going to attack this outer circle, right? But I'm going to remain centered here, okay? Like, and it's not saying being at 2 places at once, it's just saying, again, don't give up on your dream just because there's some stuff encroaching in, right? That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. Okay. So, and remember, we all have good and dark sides to us, like, nobody's perfect. Obviously, some people continue to make those poor choices in life versus learning from their mistakes. All right, I'm not really talking about that, okay? I'm just talking about accepting that we all have human emotions and reactions to things, right, that may not be so pleasant, okay? Such as this Page of Pentacles, because you could be like, excuse me, who do you think you are coming to me with this piss poor offer looking like some shady frickin' businessman here? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, the dude looks like he has fleas. There's literally a snake crawling up his leg. All right? Is that who you want to be doing business with? I mean, is that the disguise these days? Right? Is there a reason for that? Do you know what I'm saying? Intention. Exactly. What is the intention behind this person coming towards you and this offer? And I think you're going to get a direct message, all right? So I wanted to talk about this today also, you guys, because I've been seeing some videos, and especially since some of you guys may know I have been in a, mental health hospital before, and also treated poorly by some, not all, but by some mental health professionals, aka so-called professionals, that I think some of these people have a hard time understanding anything outside of 100% logic. You know what I mean? If it can't be 100% explained by science. And, somebody that's watching a tarot reading understands that there are just things that happen. God creates miracles for us every single day. Whether you believe in God or not, people witness amazing things happening every day that they cannot explain. Okay? Like, there was a whole show called The X-Files. Okay? Right? So I think here what's going to start happening is you're going to start receiving these messages about the pureness of this intention. And the way it's going to come to you, so that you know it's for you, is that it's going to be coming in the form of a trusted ancestral guide, okay? Somebody that knows you, knows how to talk to you, somebody who's going to say something that you're going to... You hear that? Yeah, look at this stuff. Just... Anyway, they know I'm impatient getting this message out because I really, really feel like this is important. And I was trying to explain this to one of the doctors in the on the floor that I was on in town. This was there was an incident with my dog, and anyway, this is where I ended up. So try explaining that. Long story short, we're to the reading now, right? And what is the intention, right? Like, I wasn't there because I was trying to hurt anybody. I was there because I was trying to protect my dog from people who had stepped on my property. They couldn't even come up to my doorbell like decent human beings to inquire about me. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, how rude is that? And I have a dog who knows how to guard a yard, and you, as a officer of the law, is just going to step into that yard where an animal is going to know how to protect it. I don't care what kind of animal that is. Even a cat is going to hiss at your dumbass, right? So, yeah, what is the intention? You don't think animals can feel that sensory type reaction, that primal reaction? Okay? So, even if this doesn't come, like, from an ancestor, this could come in, like, maybe you have animals and they're trying to kind of communicate to you in some sort of way. Or, whatever it is. Maybe you named your dog after one of your ancestors. I don't know. There's some weird animal names out there. There's some weird kid names out there, for crying out loud. Look at what Elon named one of his kids. One of his 12 that we know of. Jesus, Lord have mercy. Good thing he's a billionaire, right? Anyway... Well, he doesn't even claim one of them, but she's too old for his BS now anyway. She broke free, right? So anyway, intention here. Yeah. So back to the doctor that I was talking to. Yeah, do I have a little bit ADD? But, this is part of it, all right? I can get back and focus on topic, but can they, right? Where's their attention in the meantime? We used to have attention spans. What happened to that? Used to be able to go longer than, 2.5 minutes on television without taking a commercial break? For another 2 minutes? And then by the time you get back from the kitchen, you don't even remember what you're watching anymore, practically, right? Of course, not back in the day when we only had 3 or 4 channels, because, back then it was who was watching either Dynasty or Dallas. Now, if I try and explain this to these people in the mental hospital, they look at me like I'm crazy. Some people will understand me. Some people watching this channel. Another part of this intention, like I was telling the one doctor, specifically the Indian doctor on staff, who was a little bit younger, a little green. I don't know if he's completed his residency yet, but as I was explaining to him, it's kind of like that voice in your head that reminds you of your mother, okay? That says, remember to brush your teeth before you go to sleep, right? Did you eat your lunch yet today? Have some breakfast before you leave the house, dear, right? Things like that. This is how these messages come across. It's really not that complicated. And if you open up your listening spirit, okay, you're going to start feeling this inspiration, all right? And then that's up to you to use your own discernment about what you do with that information. Because these are not messages for me, okay? I get messages from my ancestors in all sorts of weird ways, right? Because, some of the flowers that happen to be planted at my house, okay? I have some peonies out there. And, That's one of my things, is the peonies. All right. And, you know, I didn't know it at the time when I bought this house that those peonies were going to come to represent something, but now they do. You know, so I've even thought about, if I ever sold this house, that I would take some of those peonies with me, which some people wouldn't mind because they require ants to come open them up. So, you know, some people don't like ants in their yard. But anyway, let's get one more here. So again, intention is important. And who knows what your intention is, right? I think we all have some interesting theories about that. Some theories more accurate than others. Now, oh look, what did I mention earlier? Grounding. Okay. Some of you might need to be getting away to the beach a little bit. You know, dip your toes in, just soak up the sun. Yeah, celebrate one more day of life, you know. And two, I kind of like a little, you know, I know a lot of places, school started already, but, you know, kind of a little end of summer vacay. It's just that one last burst of heat to warm you up and soak it all in before it, right, turns cold. Anyway, I think that's all I have for you guys today. So I really hope this message finds you and sits with you well. All right. It's really what I wanted this intention to be today. So I hope you got that out of it. And if you did, please do like the video. Consider subscribing to the channel. Drop a comment if you feel inclined. And until next time, please do manifest wisely. Bye-bye.